Wait, when do I start playing this?
Oh, right. You got the count. Oh, hold on. I gotta wait for the thing to pop up.
At 4:37. Okay. I've been like listening to the soundtracks and stuff like that. Like, dude, I'm feeling.
Have you been like listening to the book and listening to soundtracks at the same time?
No, not at the same time, but that would be kind of cool.
I've done that like once or twice, and it's kind of crazy how sometimes at some points it kind of just sinks in with what you're reading.
God, that sounds so cool.
Right, like
when they in the Audible version of the book, like when they do the intro, they're like, "This is a presentation of Halo." Like there's some Halo 4 music in the background actually. And then
for like one of the later books, I'd assume.
I guess all the ones that have been published under 343 maybe.
Okay.
And I hear the music and I'm just like, yes, like this is awesome. And then like as soon as they start talking, I'm just like, I want more music.
I want more music.
I want more music.
Yeah. I need more bass. I need more drums. Louder, rabbit, louder.
What's that from?
Oh, I was just I was kind of paraphrasing, not paraphrasing, but parodying like Thor in Infinity War, where he's like, more power, rabbits.
Okay.
To Rocket. So
I never saw that movie. So that's why I was like,
spoilers! I just spoiled like the best part.
You ruined the best part of that movie for me.
Now you can't ever watch Infinity War just because of me.
I'll just have to read the Wikipedia.
You just got to read the synopsis. Instead of watching it, you can just read about it.
Exactly.
Are you live yet? It's still not showing you live for me.
I should show them live. It doesn't show it?
It's still showing me that you're offline. Let me refresh. Maybe it's one of those
weird
things. Oh, it is. It might be one of those weird things. Okay.
Yeah?
I have to press F5. That's what it is.
Whoa.
F5.
It's working?
It's working now.
Nice.
Oh man, wait. Your timer starts for 5 minutes, right? Because it's like already at 2 minutes and 34 seconds for me.
Yep, that makes sense. You're only a couple seconds behind.
Yes, it's
223,
222. Yeah, because there's usually a little bit of a delay. It's not Mixer, my guy.
I thought it was way longer than 4 seconds. I thought it was like 20 seconds on Twitch.
No. It's typically 3 or 4 seconds. You can change it so it's 20 seconds, but
I thought it was way longer. Maybe it used to be longer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it used to be. I'm pretty sure they had like the whole. It was like mixed in with their transcoding system or whatever. Like if you were a smaller streamer, you had like a 20-second delay, whereas like larger streamers had a significantly smaller delay. I don't know if that's true though. I don't work for Twitch. Fun fact.
No?
Yeah, I don't work for Twitch. I'm just affiliated with them.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so when it hits 0000, what happens?
Well, I'm gonna hit the record button, and I'm going to change up the music to our intro.
It goes. Okay, so we're going straight into it.
Straight into it.
Oh man, but I'm gonna be 4 seconds behind. Oh, this is. Oh,
that's a good point.
We have to think.
Let me write this down. I need to get voice meter set up.
Why do you need to get voice meter set up?
Well, that way I can make the output of voice meter set up
into your microphone.
Into my microphone. Yes, that way you can hear the music and everything like that.
Look at you thinking ahead.
I'm trying to. I'm trying, mister.
I liked voice meter. Don't get me wrong. I just found that there's a bunch of wires and it can get a little complex. So
really?
Just keep it a KISS method.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Call me stupid.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. Straight up.
Wow.
If I have to call out the KISS method, everyone's stupid at that point.
Damn.
Even me.
Damn.
Oh God, it's coming down to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do we do?
We're gonna be fine.
What do we do? We're gonna
be fine.
I'm panicking just before this. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You're good. Don't even worry about it.
Has it started already?
No,
it's
not
4
yet.
seconds for me though.
Not yet.
Oh my god,
Relax.
what do we do?
Relax.
Has the music started? Are we?
Yes.
Is everything okay? It's flashing.
Relax. The music has started. Yes.
Music
Everything's
started?
okay. Yes.
Everything's
We're okay. Everything's all right.
All right. I don't hear the music though.
I know you don't hear the music. I promise
No.
it's playing.
You promise it's playing.
Yes.
As long as you're promising that it's playing.
Do you believe me if I promise you?
Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know.
Well, I promised that it was playing, and you can go back and get audio evidence to know that I kept my promise that the music was playing.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I will have some time and check that out. Maybe.
No time.
No. God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have time anymore. Like I lack thereof time.
What even is time, really?
It's a construct.
Did you ever see the that internet series Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Negative. I've not.
All right, they do an episode about time, and you said something that reminded me of that series.
Oh, I was I think I was quoting Spider-Man.
I feel like Spider-Man has said basically everything.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Specifically, Miles Morales.
That was
Like,
great.
he was late for his class in that cutscene or in that scene, right? And then he's like, "Well, time is relative. It's a construct or whatever." Like, you know.
It's a good point.
Or was it Tag? I don't remember.
Uh-oh.
Have you seen Tag?
No, I don't know what that is.
You haven't seen the movie Tag?
Nope. I've never even heard of it. What's Tag? What's a Tag?
The movie, it's literally what you think it is. It's a movie based off of like a bunch of like adults playing tag.
What?
Like they get together like once a year with
Okay.
a bunch of friends in real life.
Yeah.
They get together once a year and they play tag amongst each other.
Is that
Right.
the extent of the movie?
And that is essentially the extent of the movie. Jeremy Renner's in it.
No,
Hannibal
what?
Lecter's in it.
I don't
Or
understand.
what is it? What's his name? Not
You could call him
Lecter.
Hannibal
What's his name?
Lecter.
What is it? Is it Hannibal Ress? What is his name?
I have no idea.
Aw, darn. I think is it Jason Sudeikis is in it as well? I don't remember. There's just a bunch of people in it.
And they're just playing tag.
They play tag throughout the. Okay, Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, Ed Helms.
I don't
Jake
understand.
Johnson. What do you mean you don't understand?
This movie sounds like something that would have been made
Hannibal
like
Buress, that's his name.
this movie sounds like something that is like, I don't know, it sounds like a joke of a movie, but then you're naming all these like A-list actors, and so I'm just confused.
No, okay, so yeah, no, it's literally based off of like a bunch of friends that get together.
Yeah.
Is it one day or is it once a month or like let's say April is their designated month for playing tag amongst each other,
Okay.
right? So one person is it, and then they just have to find a way to tag each other, quite literally. And that person, whoever gets tagged, is now the person that's the tagger.
Wow.
And yeah, no, I actually it's actually one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I do enjoy it because the movie itself, it just reminds me of just me and my friends, right? Like moments of us sitting there playing Halo and quite literally like having system link parties and all that kind of stuff. It's just like for them playing tag is that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
For me, it's playing Halo with my friends.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy that movie. I enjoy tag just because it just reminds me of like the ridiculousness of what it's like playing Halo with my friends. The ridiculousness of them getting in the situations that they're getting into playing tag with each other.
Okay.
Right. And it's been a game of tag for like I want to say it was quite a few years. Like they've been doing it since they were children kind of thing.
Well, it sounds like a fun movie.
It is a little bit of a fun movie. Fun fact: Jeremy Renner was actually was on the production of this movie, at the same time as Infinity War was in production, which is why he wasn't in Infinity War. And during this movie, or during the production phase, he actually broke his arm. And there's a scene where he's throwing donuts, and that's a completely like CG arm. Like
Whoa.
he was throwing donuts with a broken arm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting.
That's kind of neat. Let's check it out.
He has a CG arm, huh?
Yeah, you can kind of see it. You'd be surprised at how much is CG sometimes.
Yeah.
There are some situations when there is no actual uncanny valley.
That's impressive. I know that in Better Call Saul, there's a cameo. It's not really a cameo, but there's an appearance of Walter White, and when they brought him in.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean, like anybody who watches Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul knew at some point he was going to show up in the show.
I thought the showrunners were saying he was never going to show up.
Oh well, they lied.
This was very early on. I mean, to be fair, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, right? So like, I guess maybe they just didn't see it.
Or maybe they wanted to distance themselves from Breaking Bad, so that way you were watching Better Call Saul, not waiting for the cast of Breaking Bad to show up, although a ton of them do. But okay, so what's his name? Who plays Walter White? Why can't I think of him?
Man, why am I blanking on his name too now? Well, I was gonna say Heisenberg.
Joe Heisenberg. No. So whatever. Bryan Cranston. So Bryan Cranston is in some other show or some other movie or something like that. So he put on a bald cap, right? Then in post-production, digitally, they shrunk his head to make him look the way that he did in Breaking Bad. So that way it didn't look like he had this like big head. Right. It actually looked like a shaved head. And if you watch that scene, or if you see the clip on YouTube, it looks just like normal, regular him. You can't even tell it's digitized, which is really cool.
That's insane, right?
Yeah, it's
I think
really
they
neat.
did something very similar in that the Breaking Bad movie, El Camino.
El Camino, yeah.
That came out because there is a scene with him in there as well. The only difference is he's slightly de-aged, so it kind of looked a little weird.
A little weird, yeah.
With the bald cap and like that kind of CG in there.
Yeah, going back in time and de-aging somebody, I don't know if we're quite there yet.
Yeah, there was that little bit of an uncanny valley in that in what's that one Star Wars? Is it Rogue One? I think it's Rogue One movie. They had this one character, I think he was playing Tarkin. I know
exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, he passed away like years ago, and they brought him back, and I don't know. There's just this weird uncanny valley.
Yeah. Do you think that one day they're just going to replace all actors with like just digital versions, and like they're just going to get the rights basically to use your face as an actor?
Maybe. I mean, that could be a thing. Although at that point, like, who gets paid for that?
I don't know. Maybe you get a license.
Would the actor get paid for that, or
sure.
Do the people that animate him or her, like, who gets the Oscar if they end up doing a really good?
Oh, that's a really good point.
Does the actor get an Oscar?
Does the actor get an Oscar?
People that animated him get an Oscar?
It would have to be the people who animated it, right? Because the guy he's not even there. He's not even performing. It's just his face.
I suppose so.
Yeah. Wow.
Man,
Maybe.
That's scary technology. If that's
I know. I was just thinking that.
Like, you can do quite a bit, with that kind of stuff. Oh man.
You can bring back dead actors.
This is true.
You can have Michael Jackson starring in Rome 270 BC, and like he just plays some guy, and you're like, oh my god, that's Michael Jackson, but I know that that's not Michael Jackson, but it looks like a guy who looks like Michael Jackson. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, how would you get his voice?
Do you think we're closer to being able to reproduce people's voices, or closer to being able to reproduce the way they look digitally?
Probably the way they look. I mean, I'm sure you can get a bunch of people that can make impressions, but like...
Right.
Yes, that sounded exactly like...
Yeah, just sign me up, dude. Just sign me up.
Yeah, there
put me in the movie.
There you go. Yeah, you can do the "This Is It" concert. That
I want to be in this movie. There you go. I can do it.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
That's so stupid. How's your week been?
I've had a busy week. What about you?
Also busy. I'm getting a new job. Did I tell you that?
You did mention it in the Discord, I believe.
Okay. So I got the new job. I'm going to be doing estimates and doing sales and stuff like that for a home remodeling company. And I'm really excited about it because it's a lot of the same kind of work I was doing when I owned my own painting company. And this company is growing and there's space to move in the company. And so I'm excited to start something new and something that's a little bit more in my valley. Rather than the post office. I like the post office, got nothing bad to say about the post office. That's not exactly true, but I think I'm ready for a change. So
that's good. That's exciting, you know, getting into a new environment, or I guess a new old environment, kind of, sort of, a similar environment.
An evolved environment.
Whoa. Wow.
Trax's job evolved.
It did. It did, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it totally did. But honestly, the only reason why I'm going to this job is just because there's a lot more money on the table. So I'm hoping that I make a lot of money. Who doesn't want to make a lot of money? You know what I mean?
I can't think of anybody that doesn't want to make, you know, a lot of money.
Yeah. It's a resource, you know?
Yeah, it's an important resource.
Yeah. So hopefully I make all that bread, you know? What's your favorite kind of bread?
I don't know. I do like the multigrain bread, I suppose.
I'm a big fan of sourdough.
Sourdough.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever have sourdough bread?
I would assume it's sour.
I mean, not, you know, not like a sour Skittle kind of sour, but in terms of bread, I guess so.
In terms of bread.
Yeah. In terms of bread, it's kind of sour, I guess.
Yeah. Sourdough is sour. Fun fact. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
No, but I had a pretty good week. I watched a lot of HCS over the weekend.
Oh, right. That was a thing.
Yes, their super event.
Their super event.
It wasn't a super event. It was a super event.
All right, you're gonna have to elaborate on here.
It was a.
Fortunately, I was busy working all weekend, so I don't even know what happened with HCS.
It was an online tournament.
Okay.
But it was a it was a big deal. It meant a lot in terms of points and standings for the teams going into Orlando in the fall for the World Championship. So this was like a very important weekend.
Okay.
And it was exciting. It was awesome. It was so much fun. And I really I don't know, I was able to listen to some of it while I was delivering mail or delivering packages on Sunday, and it was so fun to listen to, and the games were really cool. And I took a break at one point and watched a game of Cloud9 versus G1. I'd never heard of G1 before, but Cloud9 versus G1, and they went to a game 5, and the game 5 was just nuts, dude. It was just so crazy. Have you ever been into like sports or like watched anything that's kind of competitive where you're rooting for a team?
Yes, I did used to watch basketball. Are you talking about esports? Because then
no, just any kind of like competitive high level game. So yeah, I mean basketball counts for sure.
When the Raptors were on the verge of getting the cup,
mm-hmm.
I was watching it, I guess, a couple years ago.
Okay, cool. So you get the feeling of being like some people have never watched sports, right? And so like when you try to describe like the excitement around these games, some people are kind of like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, because I like never really watch anything like that. So you kind of get like some of the excitement that goes into some of these events and like the crazy moments that happen and stuff like that. And I love that it's about Halo, and I had so much fun watching it.
There was this one Halo Reach free-for-all tournament that happened, and I got some of those like really crazy hyped feelings.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It was I think it was sponsored by like Bic, the pen company.
The pen company.
Yeah. But like that game that I was watching got really close. It was absolutely insane because like I think they ended up tying near the end and went into overtime.
Okay.
Like, and there was a free for all amongst like 6 people kind of thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like that's, yeah, I know, right? Like it was just like somebody's, I think if I remember correctly, somebody was like really far behind, caught up, tied, and then went into overtime kind of thing. It was just insane to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was insane to keep up with too.
One day, I don't know when, but at some point, what I want to do is I want to have like a projector and just play the tournament on Sunday and just have a bunch of Halo people over and just watch it and just geek out and get all excited about it. I love it. I wish there were more people around me who also watched it so I could have them over and watch. But I don't know. I have like that kind of like vision in my head, and I think that would be so much fun.
That would be neat. It would be neat, like just having a projector all set up and just hanging out, you know, junk food and watching video games in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe have like some, maybe have like a little small like LAN at the same time, you know. So
yeah,
like
that'd be nice.
Until like the really important games are playing, like we can all kind of like play together and stuff like that. Like I think that would be so fun.
Whiteboard on the side or something, setting up all the different divisions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like they don't happen often enough. Like it's not like they happen every single week. You know, they happen like once every couple months. So I feel like it wouldn't get too old. It would be a lot of fun, something to look forward to, and I don't know, that whole thing really excites me.
I mean, yeah, that would be exciting, wouldn't it?
I think so.
I find it weird that they had HCS this weekend, and if I'm correct, Call of Duty had one of their biggest tournaments this weekend too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because I remember one of my workmates, like they were watching a little bit of or listening to at least a little bit of the Call of Duty event or whatever, and I was like, "What do you listen to?" Like, I'm just watching the stream for the Call of Duty, the big Call of Duty MLG thing or whatever. It's like,
oh, cool.
Okay, that's happening this weekend. And then all of a sudden, yeah, some people are talking about like HCS, and I was like, "Whoa, that this weekend too? Like, what?"
Yeah,
Halo and Call of Duty going at it. Okay.
Maybe this time of year and maybe this weekend is like easy for vacations, or maybe places are just available to host events and stuff like that. I wonder. It is weird that they would be on the same weekend. You would think that they would try to. Well, I mean, you would think that Halo would try and avoid doing it at the same time as Call of Duty. But I guess not. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. I guess yeah, that is kind of weird to think about, but maybe it was just a coincidence, unless it was actually planned. You know?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it was. I don't know. I can't imagine that it was coincidence, I suppose, but
yeah,
benefit of the doubt, I suppose. I don't know.
Maybe for some reason this time of year works, and that first week works in August for whatever reason. But yeah, I thought it was really cool, and Optic Gaming ended up winning the whole thing, which is cool because I didn't want Cloud9 or Sentinels to win because they've won like every tournament so far. So it was cool to see somebody else win it, and then G1 was in the finals with Optic. So it was cool to see. I don't know if you remember Halo 5 HCS or not, but it was like the one team won every single event, never lost for like a couple years in a row. And then there was one other team that finally showed up that started beating them, but then that team ended up winning every single event. And it was like, okay, it's cool, and it's cool that you're this good, but like when it's not competitive, when you know who's going to win the tournament, it's not as exciting, because like it's why I love playoff hockey. It's like in hockey, anything can happen, any team can get hot, and you know what, it's like you never know who's actually going to win the tournament, and rarely do the first seeds ever win the Stanley Cup, because I shouldn't say rarely, because I'm talking out of my ass right now, but I feel like I rarely see a top seed, the number one seed team, end up winning the Stanley Cup. So, you know, versus like basketball, where usually whatever the team is that's the favorite, like they kind of just like sweep the house, and they end up just beating everybody, and you can kind of predict it. So I like a Halo where there's 4 teams and any 4 of them could win the championship. I think that personally that makes for like the best kind of tournament. So I was happy to see Optic Gaming and G1 in the finals for sure.
Do you ever find any fun in like trying to root for the underdog, even though deep down I feel like you'd probably know that, like, oh, well, you know, this other team, like,
always
they have a track record for winning, but
oh yeah, unless there's a team, and this is how it works for look, I live in Philadelphia, right? So whenever I watch sports, I always wanted the Philadelphia team to win. I didn't care if they were favored or not favored, whatever. And when it comes to Pro Halo, it's weird because these players move around from team to team so much, and the teams move in and out of HCS so much. Like, there's no Philadelphia team that I can get behind and be like, okay, this is my Halo team because it's Philadelphia. I get it. I'm rooting for them. I used to root for like Final Boss back in the Halo 2, Halo 3 days because that was the team that was like most recognizable to me, and I really liked the Ogre Twins and I liked Walshy. I have to say that now I don't really have any favorite organization. Like, I'm not a FaZe fan. Like, you're not going to see me rooting for FaZe unless my favorite player is on FaZe, which he currently is right now. So like, I want FaZe to win, and they happen to be the underdog. But even if they were the best team right now, I would still want FaZe to win, but only because my favorite player is on FaZe. So if I'm not watching like my favorite players, I'm always rooting for the underdog, 100%.
Okay, but in this situation, you're rooting for FaZe only for that one player you had said, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if that one player ended up moving on to another team,
yeah,
then are you also rooting for that team?
Yeah, whatever team he goes to is now my favorite team.
Okay. So at that point, it just becomes you're not rooting for the team as much as you're just rooting for the player. Okay.
Correct. 100%.
Got it. Yeah. I figured it out.
Yeah, they need to find some way to create more team loyalty, and FaZe and Optic Gaming have done a pretty good job at that. I think there's people who, no matter who's on Optic Gaming, no matter who's on FaZe, they're rooting for those teams. But outside of those two organizations, maybe Cloud9. I can't really think of like another organization where there's just like, oh yeah, dude, I'm a Space Station Gaming fan. I don't care who's on my team. I want them to win. Like, I don't know how you build that loyalty. I don't know how you build that. I guess a couple organizations have, but you know, if it's like, okay, this is the Philadelphia team, dude, I'd be so behind it. So I kind of wish that HCS would open up to cities having teams. And I don't know if that's actually an HCS thing, but you know what? Comcast, they ended up owning a Overwatch team. They were called the Philadelphia Fusion. Now, I don't watch Overwatch. If I did, I'd be all about the Fusion. That would be my team. I don't care if my favorite players were on other teams or whatever. Like, no, I'm a Philadelphia Fusion fan.
Ah, okay.
So if Halo came along and Comcast decided to put together a Halo team and call it whatever, and it was like Philadelphia's team, dude, I'd be all about it. I'd get a jersey. I'd root for them. I'd buy their merch. I kind of wish the Halo League would do that. There was one organization called the Pioneers, and they recently just left HCS, but that was like Kansas City's team. And so if you were from Kansas City, it was very easy to root for the Pioneers because you're like, oh yeah, that's Kansas City team. I'm all about them. None of the other teams in HCS are relegated just to a specific city, so like they don't really have that, and I wish they did, because I would love to get behind a team and be able to root for a team consistently. Right now I just follow whatever players.
That's an interesting thought, actually, that you had brought up, like the teams and the cities and the teams. What is the political correct term here?
Cities and the teams.
Cities and the teams. Okay, that one. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if that's a viable option for HCS right now, though. That's the thing that I'm just wondering. Like,
yeah,
I guess I don't know if HCS is big enough to accommodate for something like that.
I would guess that.
I guess it's a thousands versus millions thing.
Yeah, like Overwatch specifically did it city base, and they probably thought about exactly what I'm thinking about. Which is like, okay, if we can put these teams in cities and relegate them to cities, there's going to be more loyalty to those teams. We'll be able to sell more merch. And then, of course, Overwatch or Blizzard or whoever it is gets a cut of all the merch.
Right. However, there's so many more viewers watching Overwatch than there are watching Halo.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I don't know. I don't know what they would have to do to make that work. I hope it becomes a trend. I hope we see it more. You just need.
I feel like eventually we probably would see that. It's just a matter of like, well, Halo specifically would probably need to, I don't know, just find a way to find that formula to make it really, really, really work for everybody.
Yeah.
Who want to watch HCS.
And I will say the numbers for HCS, like streaming wise, they're really good. I mean,
are they? Okay.
They are really good. And it's actually kind of surprising because if you are online on any social media platform, it looks like everybody mostly hates Halo except for me and like 5 other people. But when you watch Twitch, when there's a Halo event going on, there are tens of thousands of people watching HCS. And it's like, oh, well, hold on a second. Like, there may not be an audience to normally watch Halo Infinite Twitch streams. But when there's an HCS event, there's a lot of people who show up for it. And so I think that's... I don't know why. Because it wasn't necessarily like that with Halo 5. But for some reason, HCS has the competitive Halo community attracts people. People come out to watch it. And part of me thinks that Halo Infinite might be a little bit of a better game to watch. It's a little bit easier to follow what's going on than, say, Halo 5 when people are zipping around the map like absolutely crazy and everybody's using pistols to shoot. So I actually think that having the BR is helpful. And then I think that, you know what, it being free to play probably helps, you know, because there's more people who have picked up Halo multiplayer and played it for the first time because it was free, and maybe they're not playing it now, but if they see a Halo tournament on, they're like, oh, I played that game, let me check it out. So maybe that kind of thing is happening. I don't know, but I hope that HCS continues to do well, and I would love to see a Philadelphia team for HCS, and hopefully we get there one day.
Yeah, it can get there. It's just a matter of cracking that formula.
Yeah.
Somehow getting that hype all built up, finding maybe like rules and all that stuff, you know, game mechanics and all that stuff, just and keeping it the way it is.
Yeah. If Toronto came out with a Halo team, the Toronto whatever, and all of a sudden you had a like sort of local professional Halo team, do you think you would tune in to see how they're doing and check them out?
Probably not right away.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't watch HCS that much.
Right.
Not as much as like way back when MLG had like Halo 2 and Halo 3. I guess because at that time it was very new.
It was, yeah.
Right? So there was a little bit more excitement involved with that kind of pro level play and watching that happen.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what I don't know what's going on anymore when I watch HCS, so
right.
I just don't really have that interest anymore, so I don't tune in. Right,
because you don't watch it. That's why I was curious if like your local city ended up getting a team, if that might draw you in. But it sounds like you're like maybe at some point, maybe, but not at first.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe like maybe on year 2 or year 3 if they continue with
if you know the team's gonna stick around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. I didn't even thought of that. Yeah, like I guess so. Like, oh yeah, that Toronto team, I don't think it did that great. Maybe we shouldn't put the money into it, should we? Well,
that Kansas City team took off.
They just keep apologizing. I don't know what's up with that. They just get a kill and they're just like, sorry, man.
They end up winning the tournament. They're like, we're sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're sorry we won the tournament.
You guys played so well. We're really sorry that we won.
They're not sweating. It's just sweating like profusely with maple syrup or something. So they're just like super sticky and like, yeah.
That's funny.
Sorry, eh? Like, that's all you're gonna hear.
Over the last week, lots of Halo stuff was happening for me. I finished the campaign.
You finished it?
I finished it.
It happened.
It happened.
You did it.
I did it.
How long did it take you?
Like total time or like months that I've...
Whichever one you want to answer.
Let's go with total time. I actually don't know. Is there a way I can check that out?
I have absolutely no idea. How long do you think it took you? Like, how long do you feel like it took you to get through?
I really have no idea. It's
kind of hard, especially after like months of...
I'm going to look up on Halo Waypoint to see if maybe they will show me. Let's see. Go to all service records. Halo Infinite, go to live service record, battle pass, challenges. Do they show anything about the campaign? I don't see anything here about the campaign. Oh, stats maybe?
Could be stats, maybe, yeah.
It looks like it's all multiplayer. Multiplayer stats, all modes, vehicles. Yeah, I don't see anything here for the campaign. That's strange, because I know that the other games did that.
Oh, maybe it's just not on Halo Waypoint yet. It could be just something on Halo Infinite, like the actual game itself. That's entirely possible.
Do you think that's on Halo Waypoint?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it might be just on like the game Halo Infinite. Like it could be just on your service record or something.
I'll pull up Halo Infinite. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be.
I'm gonna guess like 10 to 15 hours probably.
10 to 15 hours?
Yeah. Well,
okay. That sounds about like, you know, around the. I might have taken a little longer to complete the campaign. Did you end up doing everything?
It might have been longer for me. No, at a certain point, I just decided I just wanted to do the story. Like I just wanted more story and just wanted more story.
You gave in, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know what it was is like I started feeling the momentum of the story, and I was like, okay, I just want to know what's next. I just want to know what's next. And I didn't want to have to go and complete all the bases and all those things. And so there's a certain point where I was like, I just want to play the story. And I actually want to talk about this with you. I just wanted to play the story. And okay, here we go. Wow. Okay, gameplay time. 21 hours, 48 minutes, and 16 seconds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 21 hours. Now, I played on Legendary, so I died a lot.
Me too. I died a lot.
Dude, how did you get past the part, but like I also got past the part, so it's not like I know it's not impossible.
Maybe I got past that part in a different way than you did.
Those two hunters towards the end of the game in that one room, that was brutal, dude. Do you know what room I'm talking about?
Such a small confined space.
Oh, it was so hard. I died so many times. Yeah. I'm like, this is just nuts.
Yeah, it's insane, right? And especially when you got like one that's just completely enraged and he's just going for you. Like, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Stop.
I put up a video on TikTok today, actually, of one of my encounters with the hunters, and they are just viciously brutal. They are so difficult.
They really are.
Fighting Escharum. Oh my freaking god, dude. That took so long for me. And I ended up just like giving up at one point. I was like, okay, I'm going to try and do this tomorrow. Because what happened was I kept getting him down to like no life. And then he just did this crazy ass lunge where he would jump across like the entire area and then just smack me. And I'm like, dude, I almost had you dead. Why? Who designed this? And then my checkpoints I guess got like stuck. So you know how the enemies like every 25%, I shouldn't say the enemies, for Escharum specifically, every 25% of his HP that you take away, he goes and gets his like shields renewed and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so after the first time I knocked his shields out, my game gave me a checkpoint. And so every time I died after that, it put me back to that spot. Okay, I got to the point where I had him like 1 HP and I just had to hit him one more time and then he would jump across the map and smack me. And then I had to start all the way back there. So
oh god.
I took a break. I came back to it the next day. And then the next day I was getting checkpoints at like 50% health, a checkpoint at 75% or like 25% health. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know why I wasn't getting these checkpoints yesterday, but now that I am getting them, it became much more manageable. So
I called those pity checkpoints. I was like, they're giving me pity checkpoints.
Yeah,
why?
Basically. And then fighting the Harbinger at the end, I felt like wasn't as difficult, but there's the one part where she's just slinging all these blue electric balls, and I'm just I'm just constantly using my grapple hook and just kind of floating around the map, and I'm like, I don't know when to turn and shoot her because I'm just getting wrecked.
So it's kind of interesting because I feel like your playthrough went very, very differently than mine.
Tell me about yours.
Because mine, I did not upgrade Master Chief at all.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't upgrade him at all?
At all. I did not. Yeah, I did not use any of those. What were those points things called?
Spartan cores, maybe?
Yeah, not the Spartan cores, because the Spartan cores, they gave you the abilities, but you know, the upgrades to those abilities.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I don't know what they're called either.
Was it Valor or whatever? Mystery is afraid of. Yes, I'm afraid of upgrade menus. This is true, Rabble. I am. Like,
I don't understand how you got through the game like that.
It was so challenging, but I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed the challenge.
Because one of those upgrades is for like better shields.
Right, exactly. It was so much harder.
Dude, I'm impressed.
It was so much harder. Yeah.
I'm impressed. So you didn't do any of the you didn't do any of like the ground pound electric grapple shot moves.
None of that. None of that.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I didn't use. I don't even like. I didn't even know that was a thing until I happened to see like other people's playthroughs. And I was like, oh, you can upgrade that. That's so cool. But also, I like the idea of me just being able to try this without having to upgrade any of that. And it was challenging. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. Yeah, there was this really good like satisfactory feeling that I got. I was just like, I completed the campaign on Legendary, and I didn't upgrade Chief at all.
That is very impressive to me, because I assumed that the game was impossible if I wasn't upgrading Chief.
Well, nope, it is possible. It is possible. It's tough because you get one shot so much.
Yeah.
Especially from the Harbinger. Oh, I had a tough time with the Harbinger for sure. I actually ended up going underneath the stairs, putting up like the drop shield or whatever, and like kind of trying to like put my back against the drop shield and like trying to make sure, because you know how she also teleports quite a bit and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I need to make sure that she stays in front of me and doesn't get behind me. And if she does get behind me, at least I'm covered, kind of thing. Like I just need to, like I had to kind of think that way with the Harbinger, and then those electric balls. That
what'd you do with that?
I ran and I serpentined and I tried I tried switching to thruster, and like then that's one of the few problems I do have with the campaign. It's just like, you have all these four like abilities, and like it's kind of difficult for me to remember what button to press to just
switching between them was awful. I didn't even do it. I basically used a grapple shot the entire time, except for maybe a few times I used a drop shield. I found that useful. Right.
So Ravel's asking, like, did it allow you to use the threat detector, Mystery? Yes, it did allow me to use the threat detector. I never upgraded. Like, I don't know, is there an upgrade for the threat detector?
If there is, like, I didn't use it. I fully upgraded the grapple shot and upgraded my shields, and then I just left it at that because I didn't use anything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I there was like once or twice that I actually used the threat detector. There was this one room, I think, where the skull was, where a skull was, and there was like 4 or 5 invisible elites in there, and I was like, oh yeah, I might need that.
Wow.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, how about that one boss, the Spartan Killer?
I didn't actually use the threat detector on him.
Well, neither did I. But what was your strategy for him?
Let me pull up my notes. I have notes on my strategies because it's been so long since I've played it.
I basically found one corner that I stood in, and then there were like only 2 ways that he could come to me, and I could like make out the camo basically as he was coming up to me, and then I would start. What did I do? I think I started. I would grapple shot him and then use the beatdown thing and then no scope him with the sniper rifle, run up the steps, and then he would disappear somewhere, and then I would go back down into the corner, and I basically just kept repeating that.
I think my strategy was fairly similar. I just used the stairs to my advantage by like, when he does his swing, I tried to make sure I was like towards the middle of the stairs or towards the bottom of the stairs, right, so then he misses, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found it a little weird, that like I feel like there's this one plot point while you're fighting Escharam. I know you want to try to stay spoiler free.
No, dude, whatever. Like, let's just go for it. This game's been out for almost a year now, and I just finished the campaign. So if you didn't finish the campaign yet, sorry. Let's just talk about it. It's a Halo podcast. We should be able to talk about the campaign.
Okay, so there was the whole like the Brohammer being captured by Escharam,
yeah,
right? And then like they were like torturing Brohammer while Escharam was getting his shield. So if you hurt Escharam's shields,
Yeah.
you hurt Brohammer.
Yeah.
Right? I felt like that was not a move that Escharam would make. I felt like that was a move the Spartan Killer would make. So it felt weird to me that when I'm fighting Escharam, because like Escharam was all about honor and he's like all about like, you know, the fight, right? So like why would he use dirty tactics like that? The Spartan Killer, if I feel like, would have had a dirty tactic like that, like just to kind of like throw Master Chief off mentally, kind of like, oh shit, like if I hit him, then I'm hurting this guy, right?
I totally agree with you. Actually, hearing you say that, you're right. It doesn't make sense for Escharam to go get shields or to do like the torturing thing. Like he was like, okay, you want to torture the guy, go for it, whatever, I don't care. You do your thing. That's like your thing, Mr. Spartan Killer.
That is literally the Spartan Killer's thing. Like when you're introduced to him, like he's already like threatening one of his own allies.
Yeah, that was really cool actually. I liked it when he threatened him.
Right. But yeah, no, I just thought that was kind of weird. I loved the stuff before that fight. That was fun.
Which fight are we talking about?
The fight, the Spartan Killer fight.
Okay. Oh, like where you're going through the training grounds?
Yeah, I thought that was fun. I think there's like a really cool there's a really cool idea there that they can capitalize on. It'd be a nice little firefight zone where you can fight like the old, like if you know how you have the bosses throughout the games.
Yeah.
You know, just imagine being able to like fight like a boss, the same boss, except maybe he's even more powerful in that room or something.
I literally thought like, oh, this would make a great free-for-all map.
Yeah, it could work as a free-for-all map as well, but I thought firefight in that whole.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
those rooms would be perfect for firefight.
It was 100% that in my opinion.
Yeah, when have they said anything about Halo Infinite firefight? They haven't said a thing, have they?
Not to my knowledge.
Wow. But you're right, those rooms would be amazing for firefight.
It would be.
I mean, it's basically what that was, you know? It was like one wave of enemies, but, you know, whatever.
Did you have a hard time with those charging brutes? I forgot what their names were.
Not exactly.
Ones that ran. Man, they were scary when you don't have.
They're definitely scary. Shield. They're definitely scary at first. You see them coming at you, and it's like, Jesus Christ!
No, when you don't have upgraded shields, you're running for your life.
My strategy with those guys was basically just to move vertical. And so like as they're coming at me, I would like jump up on a ledge and then they would kind of stare at me and then they would start moving around and then I would just jump down, then they would jump down, then I would jump back up and then I'd start shooting them again.
That's definitely not what I had because they jumped immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, they
didn't
like
stop and stare. They jumped immediately at me.
They would like not jump back up at me, at least in some of the areas where like I met them. Sometimes I would save the skewer for them for like whenever they popped up, you know, especially towards the end of the game. I felt like they were popping up more often, and so like one skewer shot? Yeah, one skewer shot would take them out. So
I was definitely not confident with the skewer. So like you would get heavily penalized if you had the skewer and you missed those guys.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Right? So I was like, nope, that's not happening.
They were very hard to hit straight on. Like if they're coming right at me, I don't know if they just moved really fast.
They definitely moved much faster.
Or if they're going side to side, but I just remember like always panicking and like I can't get the shot off, and then I would just like run away because I'm like I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I definitely panicked. Every time I saw like 2 or 3 of them, like, oh, no, gotta go the other way.
Yeah, they were tough. They were tough. You know what was really difficult in this game? I feel like every Halo has a different enemy that's just so difficult on Legendary. Mm-hmm. In this game, just regular jackals with the shields. They were so frustrating to me. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like I couldn't get like a shot on their hand or whatever, and then like they would bring their shields back up so quick. I struggled with regular jackals so much. Those like new jackals that have no shields, like they were no problem. One shot in the head with the BR. Yeah, or with the pistol, boom, they're dead. But the regular jackals,
he says.
New jackals, whatever they're called.
They were in Halo Reach.
Oh, really?
The skirmishers were in Halo Reach.
Interesting.
Yeah, they brought him back.
Well, that's cool. I don't remember them from Halo Reach. I believe you. I just don't remember them.
They usually had the needler rifle.
Oh, okay, that makes
And
sense.
sometimes they actually had a hologram too. So if you're playing on campaign on legendary, watch out. They might be using a hologram.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
It's kind of insane. The ones that I kind of struggled with sometimes, especially with the lack there of shields and trying to get that one skull, was the assault sentinel.
Yeah, dude, they were like charging at me and then blowing up, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I've never seen a sentinel do this before.
I tried to get through, because there's one skull you have to get by like not killing a sentinel at all in the level. And like I tried to get through, but like of course I don't have like my shield's fully upgraded and all that stuff, and like my grapple hook isn't like fully upgraded, so like I had to try to make my way through without dying, but I just kept dying, you know, because like I don't have time to allow for me to get hit, and like I can't get cover because they'll just go around the cover and like shoot you, and like I got to keep moving, but they're all firing at me, like, you know. So I did eventually make it through, but unfortunately I guess maybe he bumped into me or something at some point, and like it counted as a hit. I don't know, because it never popped up.
Oh, that's annoying.
I know, yeah. So I'm probably have to play through it again at some point and try to grab that skull.
When you play through it again to get the collectibles, are you going to do it on an easier difficulty?
I was actually thinking of playing it on legendary again, except fully upgrading Master Chief and see how different that feels. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because I realized that there were certain levels. Well, I actually realized you can't go back to any of the levels and get any of the collectibles. Yeah. So I know that I missed out on a bunch of stuff that I can't get back. And even when they bring back level select, I don't know if those, like, if I'll be able to get the collectibles even. So what I was thinking of doing was starting a new game on easy or normal, or maybe heroic, or something, probably normal, and getting all the collectibles. But then I feel bad because I feel like, well, you know what? I had my solo legendary run. Like, I wish I had gotten everything on solo legendary, but it's not like an achievement or anything like that. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself into being okay with doing it on normal, but I'm like struggling with that.
Oh, okay. I see. No, I mean, it's been long enough that maybe I'm okay with just jumping in again for me. Because like, I think I beat it a couple months ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I haven't played it since, really. So I was like, hey, you know, maybe if I do want to play it again, it'd be nice to play it on Legendary and then just see how differently I played. Because I have notes on how I took down all the enemies. So, like, maybe I can just, like, see how differently I approach it now and take notes on how I take those enemies down, knowing full well that I have all these upgrades available, kind of thing.
What's the trick to the hunters?
The trick to the hunters?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it in my notes here.
I basically just shot them in the face as much as possible.
I found sometimes actually using the needler was actually really helpful.
Okay.
The needler, and I also found the bulldog to be very helpful as well, because the bulldog was good to take that back shield off.
I felt like I could never get their back exposed. Yeah.
Yeah. Throwing a couple of grenades helps with that, and then also just using the bulldog to kind of, like, you know, break that.
I wonder if the thrusters would have helped me with the hunters.
Probably. It did help me a bit, but like that one room that you're talking about, that did not help me at all.
Okay. Like, I'm just thinking about that room, and I'm like, there's gotta be a way where this isn't freaking impossible.
Right?
Oh my god, it was so difficult.
I'm trying to figure out where that room was. Do you remember what level that was?
Second to the last, maybe?
Second to the last?
I don't know if that's helpful. It's definitely towards the end.
Was it before or after the training stuff?
It might have been that level.
Might have been that level? Oh yeah, because there was also hunters in that room too. I don't know. I don't think I have notes on that one. Maybe.
There's a question I was going to save for the community corner, because somebody asked me it on Twitter, but I'm just going to bring it up now if that's okay with you, since we're talking about the campaign.
Yeah, what was the question?
Okay, so Alf_theory replied to a tweet that I had earlier in the week, and he said, did you think it worked better, and by it he means the Halo campaign, did you think it worked better or worse having the final level section be more linear instead of open world?
I think it'll work better having it linear.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, I prefer the linear anyways.
Okay.
Right?
So you would have been okay if the whole game was linear.
Oh my god, yes, please.
Yeah. See, like, I loved the open world. I really did. I loved everything about it. I thought it was so cool exploring it. But I gotta say, for momentum in a story, I feel like I would have been kind of frustrated if those couple levels at the end, if there were like open world sections in between them. I think that I would have felt I don't know exactly what the word is that I'm looking for, but I think that I would have felt like the momentum in the story was being broken up, because I really, really got into the story at that point. And I don't know, I guess I really preferred it being linear, especially at the end. But I like really like the open world. So I'm kind of struggling in my head of like, well, what do I like? What do I not like here? Like, I don't know. Like what's
JJ Fittens is saying in the chat, underwhelming.
What was underwhelming?
As the word that you were looking for, was it underwhelming?
Maybe I don't know. I liked the idea of the open world, and I think that I did enjoy it, but I definitely think that like the story, I was able to experience the story way better at the end, and I was way more into it with a linear mission style for sure.
Right, because I mean, if it's linear, it's a little harder for you to get lost versus open world, right? Like if you were fighting Harbinger, let's say, I don't know, what's a good area that you could probably fight the Harbinger? You know, the area where you're fighting the two hunters in the like the big dish with
I know what you're talking about.
Like, if you're fighting the Harbinger in that area, like that's a pretty massive arena that you're kind of like fighting the Harbinger in.
Right.
All while like I guess having like being able to kind of really, really distance yourself, kind of thing. Like, does it make it fun or does it make it more confusing? Like, what are the chances of you actually walking past and getting lost trying to find the Harbinger, and then all of a sudden you're just dead by the electric ball that's coming your way or something? You know?
Right. Like, what if Eshram and the Harbinger were bosses that you ran into in the open world? Like, I feel like it wouldn't have been as good.
Like, that's just their purpose? Like, you just run into them in the open world?
Like imagine after the one level, they were like, oh my god, the Harbinger, we got to go kill the Harbinger. And then you're like, okay, bet. And then it took you out of the linear missions, and then you had to like go to one of the forward operating bases and hop in a Razorback and then drive over to where the Harbinger is. You get what I'm saying? Like it throws it off. You get taken out of the story because you're like, oh right, I have to go through the open world to get to the next point in the story. And
but I got this side quest that I have to do. Oh, should I do the side quest?
Right, and the side quests are popping up or whatever. Like I really liked that the last couple of missions were linear and you didn't have the open world to sort of be a distraction. But then it made me think, like, maybe I'm wrong about this whole open world thing for Halo campaigns, because
you lose I think you said you lose the momentum, right?
Yeah, you lose the momentum of the story. And like one part in the story, you are taking out these giant banished anti-aircraft guns, right? Mm-hmm. And that takes place basically in the open world. But you could have just designed a really large mission with those that didn't need to be open world. So,
well, and they have done that in the past. Halo 3 had like a couple sections.
Halo 1 had it. Halo 3 had it. Exactly. So I'm not as sold on the open world. I'm sold on the idea of having an open world Halo game. Like, think about all the open world stuff. Now, if you had some narrative ideas in there that wasn't a mainline Master Chief Halo game, okay, maybe the open world could work better for not Master Chief, but some other character. You know, maybe if like, think of Spartan Ops, okay? Now think of Spartan Ops taking place in like a giant open world on Zeta Halo, and you got your fire team, or you're playing as fire team Majestic, like whatever. Like I don't like, don't get too caught up in like what Spartan Ops was. I just mean like a side story with Spartans, and you're in an open world, and you're discovering things and saving Marines. Like I think that would be really cool. And I did like the open world. I just felt like for a Master Chief story, it just broke up the flow of the story, and I was most into the story when I was just hitting plot point after plot point after plot point after plot point right in a row, linear mission. I think that was the best part of the campaign, and there's no open world to it.
Right. I believe I said this like I don't know, a couple months ago when they had like announced the whole like open world shenanigans.
Yeah.
I always felt that Master Chief is just a like you send him in to deal with the big stuff, right? Like you don't send him into an open world environment. Like I just feel like his character and what his purpose is in the Halo universe always feels it should feel linear. Like you're sending him to save the universe kind of thing, right? In this situation, you got him trying to reestablish UNSC on Zeta Halo kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that was a bit more of a like ODST, or maybe just like another Spartan kind of game with different mechanics altogether.
I was so high on the idea of having an open world Halo game, and I really did like it. But for a Master Chief story, I don't think I'm on board with that anymore.
I mean, I can agree with that.
I think I've changed my mind on it. I think I'm now in the camp of like, okay, if we're getting a story with Master Chief, make it linear, please. Don't give me all the open world stuff, even though I like the open world stuff. It's hard for me because I really did like it. It's just
I'm still on the boat of open world can work really well for a Forerunner game.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else other than, Master Chief. I think his stories, when they're linear, you can stay in the story. You don't get taken out of it. Like when I think about other open world games and I think about really good stories, right? I think about Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 story I thought was awesome. Mm-hmm. But Halo has such like an emotional pull with some of its story. And I just feel like, you know what, I wish I had some other Halo characters and this was like an entirely separate game that took place in the open world. And like Master Chief's story, I like it being linear missions. I do. I almost like regret having that thought, but that's the honest thought that I have.
You have betrayed your own feelings.
I do. I really feel like I did because I was really into the open world and I like it. I loved the campaign when I was doing mission after mission after mission with Master Chief.
Right.
Now, it could also be at that point in the story towards the end of the game, well, that's when the climax is coming up. That's when things are really getting in there. And that's probably why they decided, hey, you know what, at this point, like, let's not send them back to the open world. This part of the story is going to work better if we're just going linear mission after linear mission after linear mission. Could you imagine them breaking up like some of the Cortana stuff that was going on with open world stuff? Hey, travel all the way over here now. It's like, dude, I'm in the middle of a story. What are you doing to me? Why am I doing all this side shit?
Yeah, the side stuff kind of after a while it started feeling more like a chore at that point,
I agree with that too.
For Master Chief, especially for Master Chief as a character, it's just, I don't know, it felt like a chore to me. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I'm sure Master Chief as a character would probably want to help them to the best of their ability, but going back to the whole you just send him in for the big stuff kind of thing, right? Whereas if you just had like another ODST squad or another Spartan or something, like maybe the Spartan would want to kind of just be able to help out here or there.
You know what I just thought about that would be kind of cool?
What's that?
And again, I don't know how this would work exactly, but follow me here, okay? You know how they have like Elder Scrolls Online and
Right,
Fallout 76 and some of these other games that are always in GTA 5 online.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
imagine this. Imagine you're playing Halo Infinite online, and you're on Zeta Halo as your multiplayer Spartan, whatever. And at any point you want to, you can go into like multiplayer games. And then all of a sudden there's like, well, now I'm basically recreating Destiny, so I should probably stop myself. I was gonna say it'd be so cool if like the Banished just decided to invade like a certain section, and then like all the Spartans who are like on your server like all get together to fight the Banished right there. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, I think that was a thing in Destiny.
Yeah, but then I'm just realizing like that's totally a Destiny thing. But it would be cool. I'm not gonna take it back just because another game did it. It would be cool.
I think it would have been cool to be able to fight over the fobs or something. Like maybe when you take over a fob. I actually had this thought earlier this week. In fact, have you ever played the game Dead Rising by any chance?
No, but I watched some people play it.
Okay, Dead Rising 2 has like this like these missions where it's just like, or like this premise, or sorry, this game mechanic where you have to keep like. There's a cure, a zombie cure or whatever, and it's temporary. It cures them for like an hour, but you have to keep jabbing them with the cure, kind of thing. So you're out there trying to save your daughter, right? But you have to make sure that you're also giving her the cure every hour or something. So it's like a timed objective kind of thing, right? So like what if you had timed objectives throughout? So at some points, maybe like you're fighting over the fobs, what were they called? What was the actual name for them? The forward operating bases.
Forward operating bases.
Right, yeah. So you maybe like in an hour's time or something, like the Banished will try to attack the forward operating base and take it over again as they try to reclaim land, kind of thing.
Okay.
But then I also felt that it would probably just deviate a lot and feel more like chore at that point.
Well, okay, so I had a similar thought, but based off of a game called State of Decay 2, which is interesting because you and I are both picking zombie games here to like, how can I make Halo better? In State of Decay 2, they will occasionally have a zombie horde attack your base. Now, here's the deal. Your people can usually fight it off, no problem, or can usually fight it off. But it would be cool if like you're playing and just something comes up and like, hey, FOB Lima is being attacked. Go help the Marines. And if you didn't do it, it doesn't mean that thing gets taken over and completely wiped out. But if you go, maybe you can boost morale. Maybe you can get some valor points. You can give it some kind of incentive for like helping out these Marines. But then, maybe you make it so that way it's not always like completely necessary. Maybe if you leave a base and like 3 times they get attacked, okay, maybe then they get taken over or something like that. But I also thought like, and again, I get that this game, they ran out of time, they cut a bunch of shit. I hear it. Okay, so Halo Infinite 2. Being able to design your own FOBs, given like a limited amount of like almost like a little mini forge section where you can
that would be cool.
Build the base how you want and put turrets over here and put Marines over here, and then like you can watch them kind of fight off.
Or something. What are those kinds of games? What's that called? There's a genre for that. What is that called?
Oh, I don't know.
Like where you have like the hordes coming in and like you have turrets that are like automatic.
Oh, like tower defense.
That's the one. There you go.
Yeah, I was thinking like Fallout 4. A Rabble just said it in chat too. He said, so Fallout 4 again, LOL. But that was like a really cool part of Fallout 4 was building your own bases and being able to kind of design them, in your own image. Like, I don't know, maybe one base I want this like big tower, and then all my Marines are inside the tower shooting down the steps at, I don't know. Every forward operating base was exactly the same, and I just feel like they made what the FOB was going to look like, and then they were kind of just like, okay, we're on the map. Do we want this? Let's put one here. Let's put one here. Let's put one here. Let's put one here. Drag and drop, copy paste. So I feel like being able to let us kind of get in there and mix things up a little bit might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a really neat idea. However, I'm not sure how much that would just deviate from like, the campaign. Yeah,
I get it. I definitely get that. Okay, hear me out for this. What if this is like a side Halo game now, right? Halo Infinite, no, Halo ODST 2, Halo ODST 2, okay? And it takes place on Zeta Halo.
Okay.
And instead of having a million forward operating bases all over the place, you get like 3, okay? And all of them you can build how you want. Maybe there's like a base management system where you have to go out and find Marines and bring them back to your base, and then you see them working in the fields and they're like farming and shit like that to keep people eating and whatever. Like, make it like a survival game almost in Halo. I don't know. I think that would be really cool.
Farming. Marines farming. That'd be great.
Yeah, dude. Like, how are they eating? How are they eating on Zeta Halo? No one explained it. They're just standing around, dude. What are they eating?
MREs. Meals ready to eat.
Well, at least show it then, you know.
And there's meals. Yeah. Let's just get them to sitting at a picnic table or something while they're eating their MREs at a
Bravo says, "Are you sure you don't want to just play Fallout 4?" I want those mechanics in a Halo game. Right. Halo is so versatile in that, like, you can make so many different genres of games. Halo, you could make a horror game with Halo. We've had an RTS with Halo. We have first person shooters with Halo. We could have so many different types of genres that Halo could touch. And I feel like a survival game, it's like a no-brainer for a Halo game. Take a squad of Marines and they're on a ship that gets blown up and they fall down onto some kind of the grunt home world, and they're trying to survive, you know, from all the grunts. I don't know, dude. Like, you
gotta use the assets from the ship to try to, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know, you can make it like Pikmin. You ever play the game Pikmin?
No, I have not.
Okay, in Pikmin, there's this space dude, and he's traveling in a spaceship, and he hits a rock or something like that. He crashes on a planet. Parts of the ship are then scattered throughout the entire place, and then you use the little creatures that live on the island or live on the planet, and they help you take the ships back to your base. And essentially what you do is you kind of tell the Pikmin what to do, and then you help them get rid of all the monsters where they live, right?
Okay.
And so, like, okay, I don't know about all the Pikmin stuff, but maybe a little side Halo campaign game, you know, where you're a bunch of ODSTs or you're a bunch of Spartans and you're going throughout an open world trying to think of like Halo 3 ODST. I mean, think of that game, and just like, instead of these being like moments that take you back into history or like earlier in the day, maybe they're like parts of a ship that you need to collect. And in order to get all these parts, maybe there's like different bosses and stuff like that, or I don't know, like you could do, there's just, dude, there's so many fucking things that they could do with Halo. I want more. I want more, and I want different genres, and I want it now.
Are you saying that it's possible that there's infinite possibilities in the Halo universe?
I've become a believer now. I believe in Halo Infinite.
I just believe in the universe and what it's capable of. I just wish that they would take those steps. You know, just dive, leap of faith.
Leap of faith. So yeah.
I have a question for you in regards to the campaign.
Sure.
What was the Harbinger doing at the end? Like, what was it?
When she was talking?
What were we? Well, yeah. What was she doing?
Who was she talking to?
No. What were we stopping her from doing? You've beaten the campaign, so you probably, like, very recently. I don't remember what. I don't remember. I just remember seeing a beam of light, and then we just fight her.
Okay, she was. The fuck was she doing? She was trying to release the Endless, I think.
How? With a beam of light?
With a time portal.
With a time portal?
I could be totally wrong here. This is just how I remember it.
Okay. Did they say that in the campaign or something?
She definitely doesn't say time portal.
Right. Okay. Right. So, like, and this is a problem that I feel like, I don't know I don't know, maybe I missed something.
No, it's
like
there's some things in this game that I didn't understand.
For me personally, I was sitting there, I was just like, we fought the Harbinger, we killed her, yes, but other than the fact that she was trying to release the Endless, what was she doing? What I mean, we know what do we know about the Endless? We know them being as like some sort of enemy towards the Forerunner, I suppose. There's some new bad guy, I also suppose, right? But like, what is it that she was doing, and what did we stop her from doing actually? In Halo CE, we were stopping the ring from being fired, right? And the way we did that was by blowing up the Pillar of Autumn. Halo 2, we were stopping the ring from being fired. Except this time it's the Arbiter trying to take down Tartarus, because now, you know, the elites are now, there's the Great Schism and all that kind of stuff that was kind of going on.
Yeah.
Right? It's a similar premise, right? But you have a bad guy, right? Halo 3, you were stopping all the rings from getting fired.
Correct.
You know? But like, you know what the objective is, right? You know that if the rings are fired, it's a bad thing.
Right.
What do you got over there? You got something on the screen?
So here's what we got. This is according to halopedia.org. The Harbinger traveled to the partially rebuilt Silent Auditorium. Okay. Now, I remember them rebuilding the Silent Auditorium with all that, like the raw material coming out of Zeta Halo in that factory. That's what those pillars were making, right?
Right, okay.
Okay. The Harbinger traveled to the partially rebuilt Silent Auditorium, where she prepared to use the facility to locate and free the rest of the Endless.
Which I am assuming were in those Silexes?
Yes.
Or whatever they're called?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The Master Chief, after facing and killing Escharum inside the House of Reckoning, arrived at the auditorium and confronted the Harbinger inside the central chamber. The Harbinger called out to the Forerunners and declared that the Endless would return this day. She then opened a connection between the auditorium and somewhere else on the ring. The connection, which the weapon described as being sentient, began searching the ring for the location of the other Endless. The weapon attempted to intercept the connection by disabling the auditorium's transmitters. With the help of an unknown entity, the weapon managed to shut down all 3 transmitters, but not before the connection successfully located the Endless. At the same time, the Master Chief fought and eventually defeated both the Harbinger and her banished and skimmer allies. As the Harbinger lay dying, she sent a message to an unseen ally of her own, telling them that telling them that they had what they needed, and asked that they tell the Endless she was sorry it took so long. In her last moments, she once again vowed to the Master Chief that the Endless would return. After her death, the auditorium's central chamber collapsed, though the Master Chief and the weapon escaped through a mysterious portal that sent them 3 days into the future.
Right. So what happened? Like, I don't understand. I still don't get it. Like, mysterious entity, where I don't remember them saying anything like that. It just,
I do remember that part.
Wasn't, I think the problem is it just wasn't clearly defined to me.
I think you're right.
You had a whole, especially in Halo CE, you had the whole sequence where Master Chief finds out what the purpose of the ring is because of an argument between Cortana, Master Chief, and 343 Guilty Spark.
Right.
Thus, you knowing what the consequences are if the rings are fired.
Correct.
Right. In this situation, I just knew there was a beam of light, something about the Endless coming back, and then I'm fighting the Harbinger, and then I kill the Harbinger. We escape after everything collapses or whatever, and we're 3 days into the future. Huh?
So I do remember I do remember the weapon saying, "What portal is this? I didn't open this up." And then the Master Chief and her jump into the portal, and then they come out 3 days later in the future. I do remember that. I do remember her saying, like, this isn't my portal. And then she's like, do we go in it? And the Master Chief's like, we go. And then she's like, are you sure? And he's like, we go. And then he jumps into it. So there's somebody helping.
I don't remember all that.
I do remember that. So there was somebody who was helping the Master Chief and the weapon, and we don't know who that is.
Okay. All right.
And somehow they opened up
the campaign again, obviously.
Yeah, somehow it helped them send them into the future.
Okay. Sure. Well, I can accept that, I suppose, but also I just feel like it would have been nice to have some kind of clear definition of like what was exactly happening there.
I don't think that I understand why she needed to go to the silent auditorium in order to open a connection.
I wonder if it's in one of those like intels or something you find.
Maybe. I do remember her saying that was a courtroom, and that was where the Forerunners sentenced the Endless to like prison or whatever. I do remember her saying that. So maybe that's why she went to the silent auditorium, was because that's where the Forerunners created whatever portal it was, and like whatever that connection is that she opens up, like maybe that's what they had opened up in order to send the Endless to, you know, whatever prison it is that they're in. So maybe that's why she needed to go back to the silent auditorium.
The article was saying they needed to locate where the Endless were to begin with.
That's a good point. So that doesn't make sense with that.
Right? Yeah. So.
And the connection, which the weapon described as being sentient, began searching the ring for the location of the other Endless. With the help of an unknown entity, the weapon managed to shut down all 3 transmitters. So there's somebody helping them.
Right.
And she's trying to get the Endless free. Now, how did she get freed? Do you remember? Let's see.
I want to say it had something to do with
freed by the Banished.
She was already, by the time we got there. Yeah, by the time we got there, she was already free because you saw her Silex in like the 2nd level or something like that.
Thousands of years later, in 2559, the Gerahini, or Atriox, essentially. Oh, you know what? Hold on. This is helpful. The Harbinger was a member of... Guys, when you make science fiction shit, can you make stuff pronounceable? I know that's not a word, but like, please. The Harbinger was a member of the Zalanin ruling class, okay? She, along with the rest of her species, unexpectedly survived the firing of the Halo array. Whoa. A feat which alarmed the remaining Forerunners. Okay, so there are 4...
Did she survive by putting herself and all the Endless inside a Silex, which is their version of Requiem? Is that like...
I don't know, but whatever, for whatever reason that they survived, and it probably has to do with some kind of time traveling thing, whatever reason that they survived, the Forerunners that remained after the firing of the Halo array were freaked out, and they're like, what the hell? And what the hell? So in 97,368 BCE, the Harbinger and several other Zalanin delegates traveled to Zeta Halo to parley with the Forerunners. So they're trying to make a deal. Let's make a deal.
I prefer that they try to make a date.
The parley, however, was in fact a ruse devised by the Forerunners in order to judge Zalanin, whom the Forerunners viewed as a threat to their plan to pass the mantle to humanity. The Harbinger and most of her species were subsequently imprisoned on Installation 07 by order of the Grand Edict, with only a small handful of Zalanin managing to escape this fate. Thousands of years later, in 2559, Atriox, the leader of the mercenary raiders known as the Banished, discovered the existence of this chick, the Harbinger. We'll call her the Harbinger. Seeking to uncover this secret hidden by the Forerunners, Atriox prepared his Banished forces to travel to Installation 07. He sought out for the Harbinger, Okay, so he discovers the existence of her. When does that happen?
I'm gonna assume it's one of the books.
They mention it in the Halo Encyclopedia, apparently. Okay.
Okay. Research.
So he discovers the existence, according to the Halo Encyclopedia on page 25.
Okay.
And then he seeks her out. Hey, where you at, lady? Believing her to be the key to unlocking Zeta Halo's secrets. What secrets, dude? Halo Infinite, campaign mission, endless, silent auditorium. I have learned so much, Cortana. This ring is different. It has secrets within that I will have. This silent auditorium. Do you know its history? Its true purpose? I have little needs for a failed god. This ring is all I need. Surrender it to me.
That was I'm assuming that was one of the audio logs.
That was him talking to Cortana on the campaign mission, the Endless. I do remember that.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, because they did talk at some point. Okay.
So following Aatrox's apparent demise when Cortana sacrificed herself to destroy... Okay. This is all making sense. Following Aatrox's apparent demise when Cortana sacrificed herself to destroy the silent auditorium and disable the ring, his second in command and old mentor, War Chief Eshram, assumed his place as the leader of the Banished and set out to fulfill Aatrox's goal of releasing the Harbinger in order to seize control of the ring. So the Harbinger wants to free the Endless. The Banished want to get to whatever secrets are on the ring. That's why they're helping each other, essentially.
Hmm.
I feel like it's a little bit...
Okay.
I didn't know that Cortana detonated the ring.
Detonated the ring as in, like, fired it, you said?
No, not fired it, but, like, blew it up. So this is cool, because in the book that I'm reading right now, the Banished attack the UNSC Infinity. The UNSC Infinity is going to Installation 07 to get Cortana. The Banished are going to Installation 07 to get the Harbinger. Right. So they're going there. They're there at the same time. In fact, in the book, it says that the UNSC Infinity was ambushed by the Banished. Like, the UNSC Infinity did not know that the Banished was at Installation 07. So they open fire on each other, and the Banished destroys the Infinity. As it's going down, and as everybody, like, falls on the ground, the story follows some Spartans and some Marines who are, like, on the ground. Then there's a chapter that describes the ring completely imploding, and the one Spartan watching these mountains just kind of, like, just blow up. So Cortana decided, and you see this happen when Aatrox is there to get the when Aatrox is there with Cortana, he is trying to get to the Harbinger, and he wants Cortana to surrender, and then that's when Cortana goes no, basically, and then she detonates that part of the ring, blows it up, sucks it out into space, whatever. She has control over it. We watched 343 Guilty Spark do this on in one of those terminals. Remember that? When he was bored, so he was just like, what happens if I expose the Halo ring to the vacuum of space? So Cortana does the same kind of thing to destroy the silent auditorium to stop them from being able to get the Endless out. And that's why everybody thinks Aatrox is dead. Somehow he lives. So in the book, you hear them describe the ring imploding, essentially, or exploding at that one part. And so, okay, so Cortana did that. Then you're going through what you're going through. And then that's when Cortana's like, I need to make sure that he being Master Chief or whatever, can successfully defeat the Harbinger. So there's some other intelligence there who's helping the Master Chief and the weapon. And I guess we'll find out that all out in the campaign DLC.
It's probably Cortana.
You think Cortana's still around?
Probably.
Jeez, maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be great when we have conversations with Cortana and Cortuna.
I think she's done. I think You know what this feels like? It feels like the writers of Halo 4, Halo 5, and Halo Infinite are kind of like the writers behind like Star Wars Episode 7, 8, and 9. Like they kept like just undoing each other.
Oh yeah.
Like they kill off Cortana at the end of 4. 5 comes along and is like, no, still alive.
Yeah.
And then he's gone. And then the Infinite people are like, no, she's actually dead, and let's send her off again in a different way.
Yeah, I never put that together. That's funny.
But that's what happens when you don't have a cohesive writing team who's plotting the entire thing. Like Halo's Reach 1, 2, 3, Halo 3 ODST. They were all okay. Maybe it wasn't the exact same writer for every single one, but it was all the same people with that story, that overarching story. Halo 4, different writer than Halo 5, different writer than Halo Infinite, different project leads, different studio heads. Maybe not different studio heads. It's always been Bonnie Ross, but like different project leads, creative leads. You know, so you're going to get this weird kind of like inconsistency. That one line that Cortana says where she goes like, it feels like we keep saying goodbye to each other. It's like, yeah, dude, like what's that about? And it feels like that's kind of the studio acknowledging like, hey, we get that this has kind of been going on and on and on. And so I feel like they've tried to move on past her. And I think the weapon is going to rename herself Cortana, and then that's going to be Cortana from now on. So it can always be Chief and Cortana, but like the old Cortana's gone.
I'm still gonna call her Cortuna.
Cortuna.
Cortana, except the number 2 in it, so Cortuna.
Oh, I see. I did not think we were going to talk about the campaign this much.
Oh yeah, because you did say we were gonna go non-spoiler when you messaged me about talking about the campaign.
Did I?
I was like, okay, so
yeah. Screw
and then
it.
I guess it turned into a spoiler talk.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still I still have quite a few notes here and there, but I'm sure we can probably divulge some more as we go.
No, I mean, look, like this, like I had some other stuff here that I wanted to talk about tonight, but like,
right.
I feel good talking about the campaign, and like I don't want to break that up for no reason, and I'll just retitle this thing as, hey, Halo Infinite campaign talk. That way people know what we're getting into here.
Ah, right.
Right.
You know what's really funny is we never actually like not introduced, but we never said what episode number this is.
Oh, you're right. Welcome to the Red Spartan Halo podcast. This is episode number 92, and with me today is RealMistry. RealMistry, how are you? Hi, man.
It's only an hour and a half in. We're finally doing the introduction.
This is the intro. Now we're gonna start the real podcast.
Oh God. Okay. Made
No.
a note there, didn't he?
What did you think overall about the story of Halo Infinite?
Okay. Overall, I other than the fact that I guess we took more control over Zeta Halo, I felt like nothing happened, and that bothered me.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of this story was basically fighting the Banished, taking over, and then really just killing Escharum.
Right. And then the fact that like I still didn't know what was going on with the Harbinger, and like I was still confused. Like I just killed her, and like don't know exactly what she was doing and what the consequences could be, at least, or like what did we really stop, right? Like if they had said somewhere along the lines of just like, okay, the Harbinger's trying to bring back the Endless, and the Endless is just this crazy like army of like people that almost completely annihilated the Forerunners or something, you know, like then we know, okay, well, holy shit, these guys are a huge antagonist towards Forerunners, and the Forerunners are like the people that, you know, or sorry, the aliens that like created what we have now,
right,
or have started what we have now. This is actually a threat or something like that. I feel like that I would have felt like it was a bit more accomplishing, or at least I would have felt that like we did something.
Yeah, this game definitely. This game was trying to do a lot of different things, right? It was trying to reboot with a new purpose and direction, right? That was very clearly the Endless, a new alien species we haven't heard before, we haven't seen before. Okay, they're related. They were kind of around during the time of the Forerunners. They've been dormant. They've been in prison, whatever. They want to get out. Okay, cool. That works. That's fine.
We're trying to recapture the Forerunners here in this situation for Halo CE, right? Like
Yeah, a little
these
bit.
caves,
Yeah.
they don't seem natural. They seem like they're actually man-made or something. You know, like that whole like Forerunner talk.
Yeah, I
Endless
mean,
ended up becoming that.
yeah, a little bit. I like that this group is playing around with time, and I think that that's going to be kind of interesting, and playing around with like space and time and stuff like that. Like she's just teleporting to different spots. Like, whoa, like okay, what's that about? So I like the idea that we're going to be dealing with a species that behaves in a way that's not just essentially the way the Covenant did. Like if you think of it, like what's the difference between the Prometheans and the Covenant, especially in terms of like fighting, right? It's like not really much. Like okay, they had different strategies, but it's basically little guys, big guys, and the medium guys. Like okay, there's something about this new enemy that's different because they can manipulate time in some kind of way. So personally, I find that interesting, and I think that this isn't just like a new species with like a new coat of paint on that maybe behaves like slightly different. You know, it's like okay, this is something new, and so I am excited by that.
Right, but
so
I guess here's a question that I have now.
yeah, go ahead.
You took out the Harbinger,
Yeah,
and I guess the idea of the Endless. Does the campaign change?
if you took out the Harbinger and the idea of the Endless, does the game change? Well, I guess look, main gameplay wise for what you're doing most of the game,
Campaign,
no.
the story.
But the story definitely changes, yeah.
How much?
Okay, so if you think about it, the only reason why Atriox was at Installation 07 was for the Harbinger.
Right.
So
like, why not just have the premise around that?
well, I guess it was though. Like, can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Okay, what if we change the campaign in a way where it is you versus the Banished? The Banished are trying to find the Harbinger, right?
Yeah.
And like you're trying to stop the Banished from reawakening the Harbinger or something like that. But you end this game with the Harbinger reawakened. But however, like I guess maybe you end up like you being the UNSC have now better ground and are able to kind of fight on Zeta Halo kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you take down Escharam. But one of his last acts, or just before he had died, was like bringing back the Harbinger to life. That being the Harbinger being the mystery in which what the Forerunners were for Halo CE kind of thing.
Oh, you mean so like okay, so the whole game essentially like you don't see the Harbinger.
No.
And then like okay, and the final act is Escharam. You finally kill him, but he was able to awake the Harbinger. Wait for Act 2.
Yeah, kind of like yeah, exactly. Rabble's gonna type something up. It looks like, oh, god damn it. Rabble's like, what if? Hear me out. We release the flood. Oh man, right. So like, the thing is, like, the Harbinger kind of just appears in the campaign.
Yeah.
Right. The Harbinger is now also bringing the Endless to life, which if you like, are bringing them back, right? If we took that out and like we just focus solely on the Banished as being like the main enemies, maybe the Banished comes across the Skitterers and like somehow adds that to as like some kind of villain that you can fight at the same time.
Okay.
And then you can fight like I don't know. There was that one Guilty Spark. I forget that what that one guy's name. Can't seem to remember it. He attacks you like twice throughout the campaign. Like you can have those kinds of variety of villains.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, essentially the premise is just
the giant robot sentinel guy.
Yeah. Okay. And the premise is essentially just you trying to stop the Banished from reawakening the Harbinger, but it ends up happening, thus bringing you into the next sequel.
I get that. I think if you were to do that, what would the next game be?
Well, that leaves you with so many more possibilities. You can now flesh out the Harbinger and the Endless throughout that campaign.
I guess like the Harbinger, and even the name Harbinger means like warning of like things to come. So I think like the point of her was to basically tell you, hey, here's what's to come, and it's going to be the Endless. And so like, okay, if at the end of the game he frees the Harbinger and then that's like where the game ends, what is she going to do? Essentially she's just going to free the other Endless, right?
Which could be the premise of the next game,
right? Like you're not going to have a whole game where you're trying to stop the Harbinger from freeing the Endless like you did in this game.
Well, then you have your DLC expansion that Joseph Staten's working on.
Right. So I guess
what end with that Harbinger bringing that to life, the whole like the actual translation of it.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is like whether you do the campaign that way that you're saying or you do it the way that they did it, the next sequel or the next DLC is basically still the same thing with the Endless coming out. So maybe they wanted us to see what this Endless kind of thing looks like. Maybe that was part of it. And it's like, okay, we want people to see this new alien species, so let's bring the Harbinger out and actually fight the Harbinger. Maybe? I don't know.
Okay, that's entirely possible, but then now you take out the I guess like the mystery in which what the Harbinger and like the Endless is.
I mean, we do know what if the Harbinger is one of the Endless, which it seems like that's exactly what she is. And Halo Wiki, even says that, then we know what they're capable of, but we don't know what their motives are. We don't know what they want. There's still a lot there that's a mystery. We kind of just know a little bit about their history because of the Forerunners and what they went through. And maybe we're not able to understand that. I mean, I guess like to your point, like in the next game, we could kind of explore all that stuff. I don't know. Are you feeling like it just overly complicated this campaign? And so it would have been nicer if it was just like a little bit more of a simple game where Banished versus UNSC, we're trying to stop them from doing something. They end up pulling it off, even though we kill the main bad guy. Like, okay, now let's just have the Endless in the next, campaign DLC or in the next game or whatever, and then we can just deal with all of that there. Is that what you're kind of like feeling?
Well, yeah, because like Halo 4 did what? Halo 4 had the Covenant, or like I guess the small factions in the Covenant that were fighting, and then they brought in the Prometheans. Right, and like that complicated things. Now, yeah, it did. Here's the other thing. Halo CE did Covenant and then the Flood, right? So like I guess that contradicts exactly what I'm trying to say. But
not exactly. To your point, the Flood's really easy to understand. It's an ancient enemy that is basically zombies, and they almost wiped out the Flood. Like, that's all you need to know. The Endless, it's a lot more than that, right? It's like, well, what's the deal with the time? What's the deal with them being imprisoned? All this other shit. All you need to know from Halo CE, it was like a very simple enemy. It was a very simple enemy to go like, okay, here's the Covenant. Here's the aliens that attack humans. Okay, great. We got that under control. Okay, and then here's this like zombie aliens, essentially. Infection aliens. Like, that's very easy, I think, to understand, and I think that's why that story works so well, even though to your point, you have one set of enemy. Okay, here's another enemy. I think that's a lot easier to follow because you didn't need a background on the Flood other than, the Forerunners were kind of keeping them contained. Like with Halo 4, it's like, hold on, weren't we friends with the Covenant? What's going on here? And then you got a Forerunner who's apparently alive still. Like, how did that happen? And he has warriors. And what the fuck are these things? They're dogs? Like, I don't get it. What is happening here? And so there's way more explanation that you need to understand who are the Prometheans? Who's the Didact? What's going on with this new Covenant? Why are they even attacking? There's way more that you need to know that's never explained. Or poorly explained, and a lot of it's done in like background novels, to your point of like, well, like we shouldn't have to go outside of the games to understand what's happening here.
It's good for selling more, like getting some more profit, don't get me wrong, but yeah, like I feel like things should be further explained in the games,
Yeah, like
in the campaigns.
I think that like core parts of your story can't be relegated to the expanded universe. Right, like Sergeant Johnson making it from Halo 1 to Halo 2 is not a major plot point in Halo history. So explaining how he's alive still in expanded universe is perfect. And then Halo 2, he goes, it's classified.
Exactly. It's still brought up though. Like it's kind of meta, I guess. It's like, oh yeah, we know that Sergeant Johnson was in Halo 1, and he definitely got blown up because you saw the legendary cutscene. However, we wanted him back in Halo 2.
Yeah, right.
So
that's classified.
Let's just do this throwaway line, and then at least it still is a thing.
Yeah, and then with the books, it's like, okay, now we can kind of like explain that, even though that's not an integral part of the story. How Sergeant Johnson survived. We didn't need to know that. We just saw him there and we're kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird. But like, that's not the same thing as like the backstory of the Didact, or why he's on Requiem, or what the hell is even a Requiem. What is a Forerunner shield world? Like that was never really talked about in the original Halo games either. Like, okay, it's a Forerunner structure. Well, why did they even make Halos? Why not just make a bunch of planets, right? So it's like, there's so many things that like you need to go to the expanded universe to just understand about major parts of the story in Halo 4. And so Halo 5, I don't even want to talk about Halo 5. Halo in Infinite, you kind of deal with the same thing that you had with Halo 4. Here's a new enemy, and we don't really know anything about them. But I guess like maybe one thing that they learned from Halo 4 is like, hey, we're going to leave everything in the games, and you're going to learn about it in the next DLC. You don't need to know everything right now. Here's what you need to know. New alien species, Forerunners imprison them. They want to get out. They made a deal with the Banished. Cortana imploded the whole thing because she didn't want them out. Okay. It's easier to follow, I think, a little bit than Halo 4.
All through the internet, though, just now.
Well, not all of it. So a lot of the stuff that I read, like I did remember them talking about in the game. I will, however, say, where's the part here that I think is important? Why Atriox was looking for her, that being explained, like, okay, discovered the existence of the Harbinger in the Halo Encyclopedia. Okay, that is something that I would agree with you and go like, that's kind of an important point that should somewhat be explained in the game. Yeah, at least explain it in Halo Wars 2, maybe.
Well, no, that was not explained. Like the Banished in general was explained in Halo Wars 2, which was nice.
Right, but like for him to be like, oh my god, I discovered the existence of this chick, and then Halo goes, okay, yeah, let's real quick make one page about that and put it in the encyclopedia. It's like, okay, well, I don't know, maybe you could have done a little bit of a better job explaining that part. So like, I'm not saying it's perfect, because you're absolutely right. I'm just saying I think it's a little bit better than Halo 4.
Right, okay.
My problem is that like they keep coming up with these names, the Endless, the Silent Auditorium, the freaking what was the other place where you killed the House of Reckoning? All these names. It's like I don't know what this that name by itself does not help me understand. The House of Reckoning. Silent Auditorium, kind of like I kind of get, but like, how about the courthouse? How about the courthouse? How about the Forerunner courthouse?
They do sound like Forerunner names, though.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing. It's just it doesn't.
What is the Truth and Reconciliation?
Fair enough.
That's that was the Covenant ship in Halo CE, right?
Yeah,
like, it's just called the Truth and Reconciliation.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the silent cartographer? What's a cartographer like?
The map room, essentially.
Yeah.
But that's self-explanatory, right? A cartographer. That works. I understand that.
Maybe it's just you don't understand the word reckoning or house of, I suppose. I don't know.
Maybe. Like, what even is the House of Reckoning?
Let's be honest with you. I don't even know what the House of Reckoning is.
That's what I mean. It's not as straightforward. Now, maybe some people would go like, oh, yeah, dude, House of Reckoning. Come on. How could you not know that? Sorry. I don't know. Here's the other thing that I have a hard time with Halo, and this is ever since Halo 4 into 5. This whole domain thing. This whole, like, living sentient ether thing going on. I think it's a little bit out there for me. The idea that Cortana got into the domain and then that's how she was fixed, none of that makes any sense to me. Still to this day, that does not make any sense to me. The idea of there being a domain doesn't make sense. The whole mantle of responsibility still kind of doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, but was the the mantle of responsibility was brought up ever so briefly in Halo 4. Okay, I see where you're getting at.
It's like, wait, what is this?
I think it is all further explored in the books too.
Some kind of arbitrary, this species is going to what? Take care of everybody else? Lead the galaxy?
This is the Game of Thrones here. Like, you know,
what's even the point of that? Why even have that? Why have a mantle of responsibility? What's the motivation for having a mantle of responsibility? So there's just like a lot of things in the 343 universe that are probably kind of cool, but just go way over my fucking head.
Well, yeah, when you start delving into Forerunners and all that stuff, yeah, I can get over your head.
So when you have a
I'm saying
game
that from personal experience,
and a lot of this like requires that kind of knowledge, it's like, oh my god, dude, this is just, it's a goddamn headache. Halo 1, to your point, what happens? You find an ancient alien thing. You're fighting other aliens. Then there's infection aliens. We blow up the ancient alien thing.
After finding out what the ring actually does.
After finding out what its purpose was.
Yes.
Now, there were some points to Halo 1 that were very confusing, right? And at the time, can you imagine the head scratching of like, what the hell did 343 Guilty Spark mean when he said to the Master Chief, the last time you told me whether or not I would do it, I told you that I would, and I still stand by that decision. So at that point, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Right. And you don't get that information for a decade.
Yeah, you don't get that information at all. Yeah.
So.
But I guess like, I don't know. Is that just a matter of just sowing seeds, like just planting seeds here and there, and eventually they're just gonna have to like, you know. Eventually they'll just, okay, well, we can bring this up now, or can we branch off of this?
Yeah, I guess so. And I think that works, right? Like I think that's why, like at the end of Halo Infinite, when all of a sudden a portal comes out of nowhere and somebody's helping them, it's like, okay, at some point we're going to find out who that is, and we're going to understand why they're helping the Master Chief. And okay, that works for me. For me personally, that works. Like I'm fine with not knowing or understanding that right now to understand it later on. I'm totally fine with that.
But I guess at that point, it's a throwaway line versus a huge action that you're trying to stop, but you don't know why you're trying to stop it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Halo 1, you're trying to blow up the ring. Why? Stop the flood. Okay. Halo 2.
But there are still these seeds that are planted in dialogue that can be expanded upon later.
Right. Halo 2, they're trying to activate the ring. You're trying to stop them. I will say the end of Halo 2 is a little confusing.
Halo 2, it was all about the great journey, and you're seeing the Covenant perspective of it all.
Right. But I mean, the part of like bringing up the Ark, or the Halo sending out a beacon to all the other Halos, like I remember at the time being like, what are they talking about? What is this Ark? You can go to the Ark to activate all the Halos. Well, why not? Why would you ever activate a Halo from a Halo in the first place? Why not always just activate them from the Ark?
And the way I understood that was because like the way it was presented was 343 assumed that you just knew that kind of thing, right? And that's how he had talked about it. Like, why that's the Ark?
Why that's the Ark? Of course. It's like, oh, you little jerk.
So, right, and that is also more planting of the seeds, but also you now know. Well, okay, hold on. From Halo CE, you know that if one ring fires, it causes this. Now you have the Ark that's creating that is we don't know what the Ark is yet, but we're setting up for the next game, I suppose.
Correct.
We know that there's more than one ring or two rings out there. There's like what, 9 more or whatever, 7 more or whatever.
7 rings total.
Right?
Yeah.
That's big trouble, right?
Correct.
Because you already know what one ring can do. Just imagine what they all
7 of them. Right.
Right. So, okay.
Part of the problem too is, right, it's like at a certain point, this all just gets so heavy and so big, and there's so much lore built upon so much lore. It can't help but get super complicated.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, we'll see how the expansion goes at some point. I hope they simplify it a little bit more for the expansion. Yeah. And I just hope they don't double down on like, okay, well, they now know what they knew of the endless. Okay, so here let's just throw all this endless like stuff, and we'll throw in another new bad guy or something in there as well. And like, you know, let's just, you know, KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
I will say this: a Halo 4 story, Halo 5 story, and even Halo Infinite story. These writers, they were all different. And it was clear that they were trying to start things over with Halo Infinite. I think that's how this kind of conversation even started. This game is like half reboot, half finishing what's going on with Halo 5, and then also half like, okay, here we are with the Banished. So it was like, it's also like a very tough game to even make with a story, because you have to tie up all that shit from Halo 5, get people excited about the future with the Harbinger, and then like, okay, well, what the hell are we even doing this game? And it's like, we're fighting the Banished. And so like, it's a lot for a story that's trying to reboot and set us up on a new path. And with Joseph Staten now heading up the next iteration, I'm a lot more optimistic, because, you know, he was one of the brains of the original Halo story. And
right, exactly.
For the most part, they kept it simple. So I'm hoping that with him in charge, he will be able to...
We're getting like a redirect. Yeah, because remember, he also had his hands in a little bit of like moving things around for the Halo Infinite campaign.
Right.
Like, for all we know, maybe he is the reason why we understand what we do understand from the Halo Infinite campaign. I don't know, because I don't know what it was looking like when...
I know. I would love to know the difference. I want that book, and I hope it gets written one day. A self-published book from Joseph Staten that says, here's all the changes that I actually made to Halo Infinite. Like, I want to know. I want to know so bad.
Yeah. Bringing it back to the campaign itself, like just the gameplay of the campaign.
Sure.
One of the things that I wasn't the biggest fan of in Halo Infinite. I'm not trying to be super negative on it, because there's still a lot of positives on it. But like, one of the things that I wasn't particularly a fan of was the lack there of Marines that follow you in the campaign missions. Like, they never followed you into the campaign missions. It was almost always just you. Open
world. Yeah, they always were in the open world. None of them followed you into the missions.
I think it would have been really cool to have a couple of Marines follow you, or like, you know, they come in with you and explore these Forerunner structures with you, and you get to see them react and be like, oh my god, what is going on? This looks crazy. You know, like, you get the sense of awe through their eyes, right? As humans, because you're a Spartan. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been really nice. You could have a little bit of banter and all that kind of stuff, bringing more character to the actual the campaign itself. Right. You spent a lot of the time, like, in fact, the entire time by yourself, other than your open world elements. And I miss the camaraderie. I miss the banter for the Marines. I miss the, like, you know, that whole I'm looking for, like, there's a vulnerability when, you know, like, okay, you're a Master Chief and you're trying to also protect the Marines and all that stuff, but then also, you know, if you lose Marines, well, you may feel bad about it, kind of thing, you know?
Right.
But you want to try your best to protect them while trying to discover all this stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have been nice to be able to bring the Marines along with you in all the missions. I wonder if, because I remember there was one mission where there was a gravity lift that was opened up. Yeah. And I don't know if Marines jumped into the gravity lifter or not, or if I pushed them in. Okay. But then you don't see them when you get in there.
Yeah, because they jump back out. So in my campaign run, I actually tried to push them. I was like, okay, well, there's a gravity lift. Obviously, if I get them up there, they'll probably end up following me.
Yeah.
Right. But no, they went up, they landed, and then like a couple of seconds later, by the time I could turn around, I saw them jump back down.
Oh, wow.
Right? They were programmed to not follow you, and that irked me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It would have been nice to be able to bring Marines with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it really would have. Just there would have been, like, just imagine, like remember how not abrasive, but how, like, surprised Brohammer was when he had found out that Cortuna was with you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what if you had that kind of banter with Marines? Like, do the Marines actually trust the AIs right now? Like, you know, are they gonna follow you, or are they gonna have, like, are they gonna be a little bit abrasive with you, you know, when they find out that you're with Cortuna?
You're right. Right. Yeah, I agree. That would have been nicer to be able to have the Marines follow you around into the missions. The other thing I wish they had with the Marines, I wish you could tell them where to go. And like, stay in the fucking Warthog, please. I'm trying to get this.
Oh my god, yes, stay in the Warthog. I'm going to grab a weapon, okay? Stay in the goddamn Warthog, for goodness sake.
Just some like basic commands. Remember in Halo 5 where like you could like kind of tell your squad where to go, and it was like a very simple kind of like, give me a very simple like, okay, if I click on this Warthog, then I just want you all to go to the Warthog. If I click on this enemy, fire on this enemy. You had those mechanics in Halo 5. Like, please bring them into Halo Infinite so I can tell these Marines where to go.
I'm jumping out of the Warthog just to grab this sniper rifle, you know?
They all jump out, go running around to other posts and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, dude. Sometimes they'll go and pick up a weapon that like I didn't give them, and then I'm like, oh my god, I gotta give them a new weapon again.
I gave you the skewer for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like they should keep whatever weapon you give them to.
Or be able to kind of point at the weapon and be like, yeah, pick that up.
Yeah,
like, don't pick it up like because you know the programming is just like, oh hey, yeah, like let's wait like 10 seconds before they pick it up.
Yeah, just like a two times up on the D-pad. One time looking at the Marine up, okay, I'm gonna give you a command. Boom, here's a battle rifle. Hit the up again. Okay, they go and pick up the battle rifle. Just something simple like that. Click on the Marine, Warthog. Okay, now he knows to get into the Warthog.
Yeah,
just super simple.
Yeah, so like for me it would have been really nice to have the Marines follow you. I think it also adds for some replayability in the campaign.
I agree.
Having the Marines with you, just imagine like, okay, maybe you're playing on Legendary or something, the Marines die, and then another time you're playing on Heroic, but you have Marines there for a boss battle or something, and you are now like seeing how they interact with the boss, or you're now seeing how they have some voice lines dealing with the boss,
right,
in some way, shape, or form, right? Like that could be fun. That would be nice to add a little bit more character.
Yeah, definitely. There were a lot of things that I would want different about the campaign that they could have improved on. I get that it was their first open world one, so
right.
I'm willing to give them a little bit of grace there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Something I want to bring up real quick that I just thought about. What do you think the connection between the Endless and the Flood is? There was a line that the Harbinger said, and I don't know if you caught this or not, or if you remember hearing it. There was a part where she was arguing with Esheram, I think. And he said, I'm done listening. And then she said something like, I will talk and you will listen. She said it this with the same inflection points as the Gravemind did in Halo 2. Do you remember that?
I remember of the the scene that you're talking about. I don't remember like everything that was said in that conversation.
Okay.
But I can see where you're coming from with that. It makes me wonder, based on the fact that you said I will talk and you will listen, like what if that Gravemind that was on Halo 2 that said I will talk and you will listen, what if they had infected a couple of the like Endless?
Yeah.
Right, I don't know. That could be a thing. Right? And that's how like them infecting, maybe they just pulled their memories and all that kind of stuff, and that's how they are able to talk so eloquently, I suppose.
Right. I will talk and you will listen. It's interesting. Yeah. Like very purposeful that was written that way.
Maybe, because I mean if Joseph Staten did like get himself involved with writing a little bit, that is something he probably would throw in there, like be like, maybe there is a connection.
I will talk and you.
And for a brief amount of time, I was thinking the Endless is just another version of the Flood. Like they're just another name for the Flood. Right, like maybe the Harbinger is a Forerunner, and they called, or like their species called the Flood, the Endless. Right, now that was just theories that I was building up while I was doing the campaign.
Right,
but it's seeming more and more like, oh no, the Endless is its actual own, like its own species. right? And I guess that they hint at that when they see the Silexes, or you see the Silexes for the first time in that one room before you get to Cortina.
Right. Very clearly not Flood.
Right, and also very clearly shaped in things that you're not familiar with.
Right. Yeah. I think it's neat. I'm glad that they brought in like a new alien species to kind of explore it, because I think in this universe there can be so many different things, and you know, I'd rather there be a new alien species than like maybe going back and fighting the Flood again, you know.
Right.
I wouldn't mind the Flood coming back in some kind of way, but not the Flood being the main enemy again, kind of like it was in the original trilogy. You know, like that's.
I think the Flood will eventually come back.
I think so too. Like, how could it not?
We've already seen it come back in Halo Wars 2.
True. It was in Halo Wars 2. Mm-hmm. We know that there are Flood assets that have been created for Forge. Okay. So, yeah, there's something. They're still kind of around. What happened in Halo Wars 2? Was it like a contained outbreak?
Contained outbreak, yeah.
Okay.
And then also, the Flood was they were infecting so much that they started building a proto grave mind.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, and you as the Banished had to clean up that mess because you were playing as two brothers from the Banished.
Okay.
And one of them was arrogant enough to try to like, you know, go in and like see what happened to High Charity, or like because High Charity, like a piece of High Charity had crash land or something.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I think it was High Charity. I'm pretty sure.
Wow, I gotta play through that game. I gotta suck it up and just play through that game.
Oh, I thought it was great. Like just the cutscenes. I mean, even if you don't play through the game, just play. I mean, no, actually do play the
because there's usually some lore in the dialogue, right?
Yeah, but play the expansion for the Flood. That's definitely really cool.
Okay.
I think they did a pretty good job with that.
I'll do that. All right. Why don't we halt our discussion here, and maybe we come back to it again on another podcast. Let's go ahead and do community corner. How does that sound?
Oh my, yeah, you're right. We should probably do that. We're already 2 hours in. Holy crap, my bad.
No, don't be sorry. I'm happy that we talked about it. I know that at some point we have to.
We do have to wrap up. Oh man. All right, we got some questions. Okay, so Game Warrior asks, in Halo Infinite's campaign, would you like to see the Banished attacking to retake fobs and outposts? Okay, so this was, I think I alluded to this being a question actually in Community Corner.
Yeah, I think both of us came up with some kind of variation of some way that could be interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it'd be fun. Even if it's just like a post-game thing, like you know, once after you're done your campaign, and they like, you know, just to kind of get you like, if there's like campaign challenges or something, right? And you need something for post-game, and that could be something that can help you get some challenges done.
Yeah,
like
I like
stop them from retaking fobs 3 times or something. You know?
That's not a bad idea.
As a monthly challenge. So it'll make you, eventually just come back, but then at that point it'd be a chore. But you know, yeah,
could be fun.
I agree. It could be fun. Fobs and outposts for sure. I just don't want to keep reiterating the same thing. Okay, next question from Game Warrior, and he asks, in Halo Infinite's campaign, would you like to see Brohammer pick up Marines and drop them into aid you in battle?
Drop them into what?
Drop them to aid you in battle.
Yeah, I would love to call in a Warthog filled with Marines. I think that would be awesome.
Especially in the open world environment. I think that would be much more, instead of me always having to go back to the forward operating base, it would be nice to be able to kind of just say like,
call it
here in. And like, yeah, let's get a Marine, like a Marine and Warthogs, or like, you know, some mongoose or something.
100%. I think that's a great idea.
As opposed to me going all the way back to the fob, picking up some Marines, and then going back to where I was.
Back. Yeah.
At that point, like the travel ends up becoming monotonous.
I would love to be able to like request like a sniper squad of Marines and have them set up in like set up in like mountains near where I'm about to attack or something like that. I think that would be cool.
At least that way they're safer. I mean, they might get attacked by banshees or
Yeah,
something.
maybe they get attacked and that's fine. But like they wait for you to start shooting and then like they'll start opening fire.
Oh yeah, just like the Truth and Reconciliation.
Yeah,
mission,
exactly.
Right? You're just like the Marines won't fire until they fire on you, and then, you know. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
All right, and then we got one more question, and that's from Rabble Just Rabble.
Rabble,
Rabble asks, "What's a non-Halo game and/or game series that you think you spent the most time playing?"
Can you repeat that one more time?
What's a non-Halo game and/or game series that you think that you've spent the most time playing?
It's probably Call of Duty. I mean, I played that so much in high school and college. Outside of that, let me go recently because I really don't know. It could be Minecraft, it could be Grand Theft Auto. I'm really not sure. Recently, it's been State of Decay 2. I played a ton of State of Decay. I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's so much fun. And there's still so many new things that I'm learning about with that game as I've been playing it over the last couple months. I'm so excited for the next iteration of that game. So I'm going to go with State of Decay.
Okay. For handheld, I feel like I would probably say Pokemon.
Oh my god, dude!
A lot of time into Pokemon. Just at some point, I end up. What's that?
I said no. For me too, it's definitely Pokemon. 100%. I totally forgot about that.
I mean, yeah. Well, I went handheld there, and then like I guess like other game series on console that I probably would have spent a lot of time playing. Would either be between Crash Bandicoot or Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
Because I do always come back to Crash Bandicoot, you know, just for nostalgic purposes. I like to play it like once a year kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Go through all of them or whatever just for fun. For nostalgic purposes. And then Call of Duty Zombies is just, I spend a lot of time playing Call of Duty Zombies with some of my friends, and I just, you know, there's this relaxing thing about it. Like it can be tedious sometimes, but you know, it's just like mindless. You're just mindlessly slaying zombies, and you know, we're just talking to each other, and that's just what I appreciate about zombies sometimes.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Exactly. That wraps up. Do you have any other questions?
Yep. 2 other things from the community corner here.
Okay.
Again, responding to my tweet the other day that I basically just said what a positive and good time I had with the Halo Infinite campaign. Lord Jamar at no_limit_gamer says, God, a positive Halo tweet, not complaining about every goddamn small thing and blowing it out of proportion with doom tweets. Thank God y'all still exist. I have pretty much blocked out all Halo content creators. I'm so sick of them. Thank you for saying you enjoy a game. You're welcome.
I think we just spent like a lot of this podcast like kind of just shitting on Halo.
He doesn't have to know that, mystery.
Well, no, I mean it's not like it's not like we were just completely like shitting on it. We were also giving ideas as well.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between what we do where we go, this thing didn't make sense, maybe it could have been better, versus what people tend to do on Twitter, which is, this game sucks, it's awful. Like there's no what's that called? Constructive feedback or constructive criticism.
The constructive criticism, because like we brought up like the whole like, okay, well, what if we took out the Harbinger and we just focus on the Vanish instead? Yeah. Like, how does that change? Like, does it make it better or does it make it worse, kind of thing, right?
I think you and I tend to always give an alternate idea or a solution to any kind of issue that we come up with.
That is something I definitely try to do, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And
for sure.
I think it's kind of important, actually. So then we can kind of deviate from the toxicity of, like, whatever.
I agree.
Whatever it is that we're mentioning here. And then the second one was?
And so the second one is, it is on our TikTok. And this is from @22222. The number 2 TOOTOOTWO. 2222. He was responding to me saying that it's weird to me to hear people say, oh my god, Forge looks so amazing, these Forge creators are doing something awesome, they're gonna bail out 343 and 343 sucks. I was basically making the point that, like, well, if you're gonna say that these Forge creations look amazing, you got to give 343 some kind of credit for making Forge. And he says, so 343 basically gave us the tools to make content for them so they don't have to do as much. I feel like you completely missed the entire point of my video. That's okay. It's a take that the internet has right now. I totally disagree with it, but I get why people are taking that jaded approach.
Okay.
That's it. I thought I would get like one little like bad thing in there, you know?
One bad thing as in like
negative.
Like me saying something negative, or
no, somebody in the community saying something.
Oh, you were trying to rattle the community and see if
No, I wasn't trying to rattle anyone. I wanted to.
You're just trying to kick a hornet's nest. That's what
I don't always get super positive comments, and so I figure, hey, you know what? I don't need to always get super positive comments. Let's highlight some of the negative ones too. You know, why not? Not everybody's happy about everything, so I'll bring it up. Why not?
I'm reading where Apple says, how dare Premiere Pro help people make YouTube content?
YouTube should make its own content.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I just, you know, shit on 343 all you want, but you got to give them credit when they come up with something that's really cool.
I mean, even if you do shit on them, then at least give some kind of constructive feedback, like give some ideas, keep that think tank rolling.
343 is killing this game. It's like, okay, what's the alternative? Give me a better idea. What can they do? Make the game better. Give us something.
How can they fix it?
Don't just be one of these people who's just constantly complaining. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. This. Get creative for a second. Come up with an idea. Maybe if you come up with a really good idea and you put it out there, maybe it'll get traction. Maybe someone else will see that idea and go, oh my god, this is great, we can make this part of the game and it can be better. Or I don't know, maybe you just will stop sounding like a dreadful piece of shit and you can actually have, you know, something other than just complaining in your life. I don't know, just the idea of just like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Dude, you must be just such a miserable person. I stand by that statement.
Rant over.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. This is the Red Spartan Halo podcast. We have community night on Saturday night. You can join on me at DaddyTrax. I will be on Xbox Live. Should be 9 p.m. Could be a little bit later. Give me like an hour window between 9 and 10. I promise I will be there. Okay, you heard it here. We also have a TikTok at Red Spartan Podcast. We also have a YouTube. The link is nuts, but it's in the description. Once we get 100 subscribers, then we can call it whatever we actually want to. And that's it for the podcast. Oh, and then on Twitch, you can watch our live streams at twitch.tv/Red Spartan Podcast. Look, they've been happening at 10 p.m. So I'm just going to say every Wednesday at 10 p.m. That's when they happen. Sometimes I work really late. It's not my fault. Blame the post office or blame yourself for ordering all the packages on Amazon that you do. Mystery, what do you got going on this week?
Whoa. Okay, that got okay. I've got Dungeons and Dragons tomorrow night.
Ooh.
At around, I think it's 9:30 or 10. I can't remember. I am going out to dinner with family tomorrow, so it could be a little later. I'm not sure as of yet. Friday, I believe, is Halo with Spartan Covalent. And then Saturday, Sunday, I'm a little wrapped up this weekend, so I don't think I'll be making it for the community game night again. And then yeah, Monday I'm back to Borderlands, where we're going to be continuing one of the last DLCs for that game.
Ooh.
So it's one of Rabble's favorite DLCs, so I'm pretty excited to get that going. And then yeah, you'll be able to catch me again here next week. Twitch.tv/RealMistry.
Very nice. I am currently working. You can find me on Twitter at DaddyTraxLive1, or maybe it's DaddyTrax Live. You search DaddyTrax, you'll find me. You can also follow me on Twitch at DaddyTraxLive1. And then I'm working on a streaming schedule right now, trying to find out what's going to work for me. And then I will probably have that in about a week, when I'm going to be streaming, what days I'm going to be streaming. Things might honestly change when I get this new job, so I don't even know if there's like any sense in coming up with the schedule right now, but I'm going to come up with one anyway, and then I'll just adjust as time goes on. So stay tuned for that. And I think that's pretty much it. Mystery, you got anything else?
No, that's basically it for me as well.
Beautiful. This has been episode 92 of the Red Spartan Halo podcast. I appreciate you all being here. We will be back next week with another episode. I love you all. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week's episode. If we don't have any news, we're just going to be talking about the goods of the Halo campaign.
The goods. I mean, we have a lot of stuff here that we didn't get a chance to get to, so we'll definitely...
I do have all sorts of notes here as well. Unfortunately, I haven't actually been able to organize my notes. I probably should have taken the time to do that, and you'd think that, oh, hey, Mystery's had a couple of months to organize that, but nope, he just threw it on a notepad and on his computer, and it just ended up in the hard drive.
At least you took notes.
I tried to, yeah, I tried to, because I knew I would forget a lot.
At least you took notes.
Yeah, I also didn't realize how long it would take us to get to this point as well, so.
That's my fault.
It was no one's fault at all.
I mean, it was actually technically my fault.
No one's fault at all.
You know what? I blame the post office. How about that?
No one's fault at all. What part of this are you not understanding?
All right, live stream. Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Goodbye.